Hello. Thank you for listening to and watching Youhadoptions. This episode, I have Blaise and Tim from the very good band Job Creators. Great talk. Enjoyed talking about kind of different inspirations behind their sound. Talked about different artists who are kind of in the same realm. Great talk. Go check out their new single Love Monster wherever you get your music. Go follow them on Instagram at Job Creators Band. Go follow Youhadoptions at Youhadoptions on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. Go on YouTube. Follow that. Love that. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy. Great talk with Job Creators. Enjoy.
Afternoon. How are you?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Doing really good.
Nice. Yeah. Job Creators. That's your band's name.
Oh yes. 10-year anniversary this year, actually.
Damn. Been creating jobs for 10 years.
Only 2 though.
Only 2.
We've been in the red for a long time.
I like the name. What was it just like a fun thing, or is there any super deep
It was when it was 10 years ago, Mitt Romney was talking about like being job creators and all that. I was like, well, we can be job creators.
And of course, being young and anti-establishment, just how sarcastic the whole thing sounded. We were like, this is just a gold mine. Just mine this for 10 years, I guess.
Which was great for the first year, and now no one remembers that. So now we're just job creators.
It's still cool though. It's still, I think it's still like, in my big boy professional world, I have to be in LinkedIn a lot, and so I think it fits into this like kind of professional LinkedIn influencer role that I think a lot of people want. Just using like buzzwords and stuff. Like that's what I thought when I heard Job Creators.
Well, yeah, it is funny that way because it can apply to almost anything, and also like being in a band is a pain in the ass. So,
right.
Anything's a job if you really think about it.
That's true. How far did you guys go into the Mitt Romney? Were you wearing the special Mormon underwear when you were?
Tim tried those out for a second, but they
didn't really fit, I guess you could say. But since we do use samples in our music, we did actually sample Mitt Romney during the Obama-Mitt Romney debates, and that was just a whole lot of fun to skewer that whole era at that time.
God, do you guys find yourself going down weird rabbit holes of like, I don't know, weird religious sects? I guess is a fun topic for me to go down.
We haven't, you know what? It's interesting. We haven't done religious samples, which is
like
actually
the cult, area of things that's very popular in America. So
yep. We go from like politics to like more.
Yeah. How do you guys?
Yeah.
Sorry. I recognized some of the samples. How do you guys pick your samples? Is it samples first and then you write songs around it?
Man,
that's a good question. Sometimes it's both ways. Sometimes there's something that comes along and it's like we save it because we can't wait to put it in a song later because it's just like thematically we think it's going to work out. But I think a lot of the times the music kind of like speaks first and then we search after the fact.
Usually we're going through something in our lives that's similar or thinking about a similar concept, and we play, and then we decide that sound is that concept. We give it a nice little name, and then then it really becomes a matter of, well, how do you all put it together? Like Settings has, I think it's Herbie Hancock, right, Tim?
Yeah.
And he's talking about turning on a light bulb, not just being trapped to one passion.
Yeah.
When we came up with Settings, it was also because I could never get the settings on my bass right. And we thought about like, well, the funny part about sound is that any setting of the sound changes your feeling, and then any setting you're in changes your feeling. And so it all kind of connects. And then Tim came up, he found this Herbie Hancock sample. So it's almost like a little triple layer cake of meaning there.
I like it. Oh man.
Nice.
So the live performance do you guys have triggers for like the samples going on and stuff like that? Like, how's that work?
Yeah, we haven't changed that since 2013.
Yeah.
Just been packed away in this tiny little loop pedal. So each time
it's
we're
not the best delivery system, but we're stuck with it right now. I've given Blaise an ultimatum to maybe figure out something different because it's quite finicky. But it adds that extra spontaneity to the live show.
Yeah. Do you guys? Yeah. It's like I'm sure. Yeah. Have you had the loop pedal or whatever break during a live performance?
God, the loop pedal hasn't broken as much as the other pedals. If it's more like my own incompetence because you have to remember the number that the loop is technically playing. So I get a lot of like wrong samples just playing, or stuff like
it's
that.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like y'all know L1011. You know that band?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big fans.
Yeah, I'm big fans of those guys, and I've seen them a couple times. I'm like playing in like a normal like 3-piece or 4-piece band or whatever is that's like my limit of how much live stuff I want to be responsible for, of like
my instrument.
Yeah,
and so watching them play, it's like
so much work. We've seen them too, and you're like, whoa, you just
like
make
constantly
just jobs. He's got like 8 loop pedals, and then he's got 2 instruments and 1 instrument, and then the drummer's like hitting his strings sometimes. Just like it's a lot of work.
Like both guys have, I don't know, pads and all sorts of gear. I was like, gosh, the timing and it's like training, not like practicing or rehearsing.
Yeah. Well, Tim plays
all the muscle memory. Yeah.
So like Tim has to do drums, and then like also the synthesizer, which has different settings for every song. So that's like a whole other thing to remember too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those guys definitely are inspirations as far as like, 2 guys just can do this. Like, just the fact that they're out there making it happen. It's like, okay, it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are you both in the same location, or is one of you in New York, one of you in Boston, right?
Yep. I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn. But we grew up together, so
okay.
We did have a time where we were playing together very regularly. Now we get a once a month cadence going on, and then shows.
Modern life. Yeah, once a month is good actually these days.
Yeah. What is the writing process like? Is it you guys just sending files back and forth?
There's a little bit of that. We definitely want to like each of us is definitely responsible for like writing our own material and then bringing it to those writing sessions together and hashing it out, like whatever riff kind of best wins. But sometimes we just straight up jam, total improvisation, and then we'll go whatever that magic moment was, let's turn that into a song. And so we'll kind of like just mine the improvisation for riffs as well.
Yeah. Have you guys ever got in trouble, like a copyright infringement or something from any of the
I think they know that there's no money there. It costs them more to like pay a lawyer to write the letter.
The letterhead is
YouTube has yelled about our videos, I guess. That's it.
Yeah, on YouTube, there's been a couple like, "Hey, this is this is
But it's a
not
robot.
yours. Don't do it again," type of thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's actually pretty surprising that hasn't happened yet.
Well. Yeah, I heard the Herbie Hancock's people can be litigious, so it's something to look forward to. No, but you guys just put out a single, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. It was on the 8th.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
8th of June.
Oh, last week. Oh yeah, we're recording on the 12th. Okay. Yeah, Love Monster. I forgot the name, but Love Monster. Yeah, is there going to be a new album down the way? That's a saying.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're planning for a fall release. We're trying to get singles out kind of like periodically before, releasing the full album in probably October, I think is the goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's still, I'd say the last like 3 or 4 songs are going through the last mixing and mastering. And then we'll actually like fully have it ready to go.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always amazing how long it can take to do this, because I think we started in the studio in April last year.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the songs now are from like 2019 even. So we're kind of like,
some of the melodies.
Yeah. There'll be 11 songs total though. So we slowly we put out Wave Runner, which was the first single. That was December.
Yeah.
Then we'll have another one coming out called Heart Race, which is August, and then we'll have
end of August.
Yeah,
that's cool. Do you guys? It's always weird, or I always enjoy asking like how people like to put out music now, especially since it's like in certain genres of music, like the album is pretty much dead, but in stuff like y'all's music, it's kind of more the songs will, whether they're meant to or just by happenstance, kind of like all work together to make a bigger thing. Is that what y'all's thought is? Is it album based?
Yeah, Tim and
so
I
far,
went. Yeah, we've kind of like debated that also, because like the new listeners especially, they don't even have time to know what band is playing anything or the name of the song.
Right.
It's just next week you're gone already. But I think that from a personal perspective, it's better to have these albums as cornerstones or milestones. But then again, we were like, maybe we'll do 6 songs instead of like a full length album next time, because then you can at least just keep putting them out.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a trope, but like I don't really think anyone knows. Like, we're in a musical transition, because that's why we were trying to release a bunch of singles. We're like, okay, like we can get people's attention with a song, but like if you give somebody an album, even me, if I'm listening to a band, I'm kind of an album person. I'm probably not going to be able to get through the whole thing, even when I want to listen to it. So it just seems like we're all trying to figure out like actually how you get somebody to listen to your music these days.
It's tough. Like y'all said, there's, I forgot. I saw some report, like I think at the end of last year, of like how many songs are getting uploaded to Spotify, and like
Oh no, what was it? Do you remember?
It was staggering. Like how many how much music gets uploaded to Spotify, and like the percentage of music that's like not listened to at all, or like very few listens. Obviously, like the huge people are still getting their numbers, but like it's very easy to get pushed down, it seems like, unless you know how to get on a Spotify playlist or whatever, which I still don't understand the magic behind that.
Yeah. Also, like, you can't form an emotional connection with the music digitally in the way that, like, because one song is not honestly not enough in a sense. Like, back in the day, you'd be constricted to an album, so even if like one was kind of a mid, as the kids say, you'd still be like, all right, I'll get through the song, and it's part of the
Blaise,
thing. Maybe I'm trying, and then it'll grow on you, But like, I think nowadays with the shows we play, that's the only way to encourage people to even listen, even if we're like, for example, you can have 1,000. We have 1,000 Instagram followers. That's not any like everyone knows that doesn't mean 1,000 people show up anywhere to anything, or even
Right.
listen, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to get someone to be emotionally connected to the music in order to even listen to it in the first place and keep listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's weird. It's a weird spot. Before Job Creators, were y'all playing music in bands together?
There was like I want to say there was a high school band that we were shortly in, but then we both went off to two respective different colleges, and I don't think we played music for a couple of years, and then we finally got back together. I want to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we didn't mean to be a two piece. Like we went
We
through
definitely
like
did try to add
yeah.
people.
three
Oh, yeah.
guitarists. We had a saxophone player at one point. That was great. Yeah, we tried, but you know the nature.
It's hard to get people to show up consistently for
Yeah.
the band. You know, we'd have these crazy, jam sessions or writing sessions, and we're like this is great. Can't wait to add this sound to the band. And they're just the commitment level wouldn't be there.
Oh, yeah.
You'd kind of have to go. I think we're going to do this ourselves.
Yeah, man.
Also, like you can't like how do you even compete with everything else that people are doing all the time? You know, there's so much other entertainment that even the people trying to make the entertainment get distracted and then they end up not doing it.
Yeah.
Even like we found that unless there's a show with a fire just burning and we're like, oh shit, we actually have to like get our act together. We can be like, okay, well, the album can come out anytime, I guess. Like, we don't have a record label being like, hey, try to get this shit out, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
no.
yeah, so that's how we ended up as a two piece. It's at least a little bit easier.
Yeah. It's once you become an adult and you got like priorities, and making music being one of them. It's like other people that you're trying to bring in, they got their own shit going on. It's like, I got to get my dog shampooed. I can't come to practice. What are we? And some bullshit like that.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I've been in
there
bands with. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've been in bands with like 5 people, and you're like, okay, this is going to be Tetris in everyone's calendar. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and like the other thing is like you have to reach that compromise. Like it's like a hostage negotiation for each song in a lot of ways, where someone might lead the song and you're left to do the one thing that is boring as hell. So you don't even have that much invested in it. Whereas we don't tell each other what to do at all. So that's why it's insanely weird music, but at the same time, at least we're doing what we want. It's almost
pretty liberating in that sense.
Yeah,
it works. I think I tried to listen to as much as I could to get prepared for this. I think it works. I don't know.
Good. Yeah. And now that Tim, like the first few years, like I had one pedal and it was a wah pedal. And then Tim was doing drums. Yeah. And then he slowly started to learn synthesizer and I started adding pedals. So we started to try and continue to create a more and more like honed dynamic. So this upcoming album is definitely like Tim's on the top of his game for synthesizer. I remain the same throughout, like, but the synth pushed both of us into these new categories of like sound at this point.
Yeah, it's cool. What's your favorite pedal that you're using right now?
I'm always honestly, the delay pedal has been the truth for us because otherwise a bass is going to sound very flat. And there's like a dynamic to a bass where if you can be a jazz band and you can be an instrumental and you can have 3, but it's very technical and it's not necessarily emotional in a way. And very skilled like bass playing can fall into that category easy. But with delay, you can at least have you fill it out a little bit. So that's definitely cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bass player, and so cool. I think and this all ties together. Like I liked like Peter Hook from New Order and Joy Division, and so that I was like, this isn't a bass guitar. Whenever I was like 13 or whatever, whenever I first heard it, I was like, this is a guitar. So yeah, I think that's cool. It also kind of draws me back to L1011, where when he's playing bass stuff, it can sound like, I don't know what the hell this guy's playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to say his name's Christian, right?
Christian, yeah.
Yeah. But like, they tour with Peter Hook, so it's like there's that connection just, from those two generations right there.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a true story or not, but I saw a little excerpt from Peter Hook that was like, I only played like high up on my bass because my gear sucked and you couldn't hear it, any low notes or any low strings, like whenever he first started.
Yep, that sounds about right. I mean, pedals can compensate for a lot of crappy gear in general too. Like my wah pedal will create a treble sound that I don't. It's like, all right, good. I don't need to mess with this or any of that. But yeah, that's super interesting. I think Royal Blood is kind of interesting if you've heard of them.
Oh yeah,
but he goes very hard on the muff pedal, and that's a case where you're like, were you supposed to be a guitarist or like what? Because at a certain point you're like, are you White Stripes basically, but you have fewer strings?
They're Death from Above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that band. Yeah, he reminds me more of like Peter Hooky type stuff, I guess, than Royal Blood guy. But yeah, I love their stuff. Rips too. Another 2-piece.
Yep.
They're out there.
Yeah, Tim, what are some of your favorite synths? To you,
the most recent addition is it's the Mofo by Dave Smith Instruments. That's been my first foray into analog synthesis. So previous to that, I was using a microKORG and just like a Casio, like digital kind of like piano type synth. But the Mofo's been really huge for like unlocking what sound even is, if I can say that.
Oh yeah.
Like what is a triangle wave?
Tim, let's get deep.
What's a square wave sound like? So it's been a lot of learning. The learning curve was steep, but rewarding.
Yeah, I've tried to get more into like analog stuff just because it's expensive as shit. And so now I'm older and I got credit cards. I can just like buy stuff.
And Reverb, it's on sale.
Yeah, but it's like, you get into like Moog stuff or something. Like I have a buddy who's super into like Moog, and he's got he doesn't have like the huge like grandmother rack or whatever the biggest stuff is, but he's got like smaller ones. I'm like, he's plugging in these cables and unplugging cables. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, man. You're doing some like black arts.
Exactly.
To get this weird sound.
It's even like when we were setting up for our single release show on Thursday, I was like, why do we make this so hard? Like, why do I have to check the pedal? Why does Tim have to like test 2 instruments? We're like,
we chose this path. We apparently chose
progressive addiction to complexity.
Yeah, it's do you guys have, whenever you're writing stuff, do you find yourself saying, okay, we gotta rein it in some, or do you guys honestly, care about that?
That was, I'd say that was earlier. Earlier on, we had these songs that it'd be tough to play again in ways where, and it's not necessarily like it adds to the song. So I'd say we're more conscious of, does this add to the song and does this make sense with the flow? Especially from a bass perspective, when you have a synth leading the melody. I actually like the songs because I can just lean back and like, even if I screw up 100% of the time, Tim's still gonna keep it on lockdown.
It's true though, because it's adding that third voice definitely changed the music. Because I want to say at least our first record or the first EP that we made, into being a band for quite a while, I just was playing drums. So adding that has just made us evolve and the sound with it. I would say.
Yeah, and it's a weird limitation of being like you were saying, playing live. And I don't know, usually my thought for live is like, if this thing breaks, I should probably have a backup, will be crucial. And so having like, multiple synths or having like a huge pedal chain I would. Are you guys constantly like worried that something's gonna screw up playing live? My anxiety would just be like, this is too much. Please, yeah.
Yes.
We're worried, but we also know it's going to happen. So it's it's an interesting.
We've come to accept that something
Go
bad
through a whole
is going
cycle of hating each other for like 3 hours, including the show.
Yeah. Wait, was the release show last week?
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, we played Lower East Side at a place called Berlin.
Oh,
yeah,
man!
Confusingly enough,
I like it. How did the show go?
Oh, it was great. I thought it was.
Yeah,
but it's 11 p.m. free show. Definitely lends itself to a kind of more wacky time, but that actually was perfect because it's also on brand for the songs. So
yeah,
it was definitely
it was funny that it happened that way. Yeah.
But it was like it's a lot of people who'd seen us a bunch of times, and it's always like part of it is when you're a smaller band, you at least just get an excuse to get everybody together.
Yeah,
literally will never come for any other reason or even coordinate with you to hang out. So
right.
I enjoy that, especially like in a post-COVID world. You at least have one thing where all these people will be like, all right, fine, like we'll show up for 1 hour, and you get to see people and they interact. So at this point, it's become a very social thing, I'd say.
The band?
Yeah, well, our shows.
Well, and the audience. Yeah. It seems like it's quite a reunion for most people, which is actually kind of nice because it reminds me, at least, that's like, oh, we've been doing this for a long time, that even the people who have attended the shows have become friends, you know?
Yeah, with the pressure also, they're like, well, that song sounded different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad. Did anybody else play? Was it just y'all?
There was a band on before us, but I cannot remember his name, and I don't want to mess it up right now.
That's fine.
I wish I could remember.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Do you guys have like a tour coming up, or just
Oh yeah, this August, we're going to have what we're kind of dubbing the 10th anniversary tour. And we're probably going to do, I think it's like 5 or 6 dates just around the Northeast. Like Providence, New York, a couple dates in Massachusetts. And it should be a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's exciting. Are you guys going to have, is physical media a thing for y'all? Like, are you trying to put it out on vinyl and CD and all that stuff?
CDs, we did that with the last album, and it was definitely awesome to give somebody a physical thing. It's just that actually matters because we're here in reality, not some kind of digital realm. But recently we did with this place called Least of All Studios in New York. We did a bunch of like 7-inch, just the song, late cut as they recorded.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. So we definitely want to do vinyl again.
People bought those at the show. So, I think.
And it's made a resurgence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, merch is really interesting because you got your shirts and then you have your vinyl. Now we're trying coffee mugs. So we're like, see people have some coffee in this like job creators mug. And then, like, I don't know, we have some ideas for the 10th anniversary merch, but I've always been surprised by if you put it on the table, people will actually buy it. A lot of it depends on the artwork, right? Like,
but
that's and it seems to be the only way to make money as a band anymore is just finally become capitalist.
We are a traveling bazaar or a traveling like fashion
wares
or something.
Our job creator wares. Yeah.
Would you like some of our trinkets?
We just
play you a song.
Yeah, and it's strange now, especially with vinyl, because it takes so damn long, and it's so expensive to get vinyl pressed and made. But it's like y'all are saying, it's vinyl's kind of just turned into like, especially for like small, like not humongous bands, it's just turned into like a merch item pretty much. Like the vinyl.
You know what? That's so interesting because I think it's whoever has a vinyl player
Right.
probably is more likely to buy some music stuff. Like that, it's probably
Yeah.
that. It's almost like a market creating its own demand of like people are like, okay, I care about the music fidelity, so I bought this vinyl player. Then I go to a lot of shows because I have a vinyl player, and that's like I'm a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And then if you have the vinyl, they're like, this is for me. This is
Oh,
clearly
right.
because we had two and we sold the two vinyl. So just people who actually had seen us only this show, I think.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to me because Tim's always been telling me that we need to do more vinyl, and I've been telling him he's stupid. And
Who's
But
got
yeah.
those things, whatever
Yeah.
they are, that play them?
count his correctness.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, people still definitely buy vinyl. It's just strange that you got to be playing shows. It seems like to sell it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like, how do you get people to even leave Netflix for 1 hour, leave their couch? You know, it's just like one of those things where that's why I thought 11 p.m. was great because it's like you don't
Yeah.
have excuse for dinner. You could already see two shows, so it's really like you're just sacrificing that one episode right afterwards to go see,
Mm.
and it was free. So you know,
But it is true. I think since COVID, like the pendulum has definitely swung back towards like people want human experiences.
Yeah,
And if you
for
can
sure.
meet people where they're at, especially at a show, and they resonate with the music, then they'll probably support you because everybody knows streams don't pay you anything. Bandcamp is pretty straight up; they'll pay you, but like
Yeah.
for the most part, they know the music isn't supporting you really. So
Mhm.
I think they understand. Hey, I can buy this coffee mug, I can buy this vinyl, and it's going to help the band.
Yeah. But yes, for anybody who's wondering and listening how to support bands, buy their merch. That's
Yes.
the only thing that matters, really. This damn
Algorithm, I say.
this damn algorithm, this damn economy. But is there are there things that y'all are watching right now that y'all are obsessed with, since we're talking about trying to get attention
I want to say,
spans?
Blaise, what were you watching? You were talking in the Uber. You and Drina were talking about a show that sounded cool.
The drug cartel show.
No, Succession. I know
Oh,
Succession.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Succession was decent. I just started watching
I'm
Ted
stuck
Lasso.
watching older things. That's my problem.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim's
Like
like a
I'm
very
going back to like '90s TV shows and loving it.
Okay. Yeah.
samurai
Full
movies.
House. Yeah. Yeah. Succession was good. I have my thoughts.
What are your thoughts?
I don't want. Well, I don't want to give spoilers or anything.
Oh, spoilers.
Sure.
So, but I was okay with how it ended
Yeah,
without giving
I enjoyed
spoilers.
it. I think that if you're gonna have a popular show, it always starts with family, and then you throw a bunch
Yeah.
of problems in the family, and that's it. Like Game of Thrones, it wasn't because it was fantasy that it was popular. It's because it was just a bunch of families yelling at each other.
Drama.
Yeah,
Drama.
it was everything about family because everyone can relate to that. I mean,
Yeah.
we need to make a family album, is what I think now. After seeing that Game of Job Creators,
Job
Maybe
Creators
once-
family album.
We start families.
how about like a parenting advice samples like song, like a bunch of like, just listen to this, you'll become a better parent.
Ooh, I like that idea.
It'll be called
You get,
Okay
like-
Boomer.
Okay. You find all the worst parenting samples you can on like Instagram or TikTok or wherever. People are like, don't teach your kids how to read. Don't
Yeah.
don't bathe them, or whatever. I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
Those are good foundational things to miss, if you want to make a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just gotta figure out who's gonna spread it to somebody on an Instagram reel, and maybe you profit from that. Who knows? I don't know. People thought
Would you
TikTok
get-
was gonna like help people.
Yeah, man. Nope.
It helps out a few, but it still seems like it's a few getting helped out.
Yeah. It's social media is so weird. Do you guys with the band, do you feel like you had to post not from like, not from like some manager or rep or somebody being like, "Yeah, I gotta post this thing." But like, do you feel a self-imposed pressure to post more content or whatever the fuck?
Yes, definitely, because it's hard enough to reach anyone who's already following you without paying Meta or paying somebody, because literally they won't even show your followers your material.
Right.
So we do tend to post quite a bit just because it's a creative outlet, but also at the same time it's like, hey, don't forget about this band and this music.
Yeah, it's kind of, I find it funny now. It's like almost a photo album I can go through of Instagram crap, because what happened was we were bad at it because we were playing a lot of shows before COVID. COVID hit.
Yeah.
We hadn't posted anything at all from all these like archives. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to spend a year and a half just posting old shit. So then we caught up to that. And then I was like, okay, well, now we kind of have established something.
Yeah.
And so that's always fun, at least from a personal perspective, to do that. And like we try to do like little giveaways and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of fun. I don't think it's been sure. Tim and I alternate, so like no one really knows who's posting, which is great. So
that's good.
It's intentionally schizophrenic content, which keeps the audience
guessing. Yep. Instagram, like Tim will post a picture of Godzilla, and then I'll be like, "Everyone, come to the show, please."
Yeah. I think, it's like, I don't know, just having one person in charge of the social media or whatever for the band is usually, I don't know, it's too much for the one person because they put all the, I gotta be posting, like, well, what's job creators' favorite breakfast cereal, or whatever, It's such a weird world. Do you guys keep like a folder of sound bits that you just come across and you're like, this might work for something,
Yeah, it's Dropbox, I would say, is the current kind of like place to put all those, but you never know when it's going to happen. So it could be the middle of the night sometime, you're on your phone, you're in a YouTube rabbit hole, and you hear something and it's like, okay, I have to somehow capture this, save it for later. You never know if it'll turn into something, but you feel like it has that spark of potential.
Yeah. Has there been a clip that you guys wanted to use but decided not to use?
Oh yeah.
For whatever. Is there a fun one you can think of?
I feel like there was one that was going to make it on the album and it didn't make it on, but it was a really good one.
We also have clips that were just like so insane that we used to play during shows that we don't do it anymore. Like we had one about the BP oil spill, and that was like, it's like we were like,
that was pretty abrasive.
I don't think people want to hear. We had this like conspiracy guy, and he'd be like, now like everyone in the Gulf of Mexico is going to get cancer. And we like remix was like cancer. I was like, and like
it's hard on the plane now.
Like, okay, but people already know that life is just they don't need that.
Yeah.
So I think that was like our earlier shit, and then we're like, all right, let's try to make slightly more positive music. Now it's like,
more philosophical.
It's I was back in our old political days where we could change the world with our 3 listeners and us.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, gosh, yeah. I think that's becoming an adult is the realization that like, well, no, you can't really do anything.
I'm going to just improve my own part of the world. Hope everyone's improving their own part of the world, and well, hopefully that'll do some kind of impact. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, strange world. What was I gonna say? I had something, and I forgot. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. What are your can you talk about your day jobs? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm a video editor.
Okay.
So kind of I work at a university. It's all things video editing I'm interested in, and I try to incorporate that with the band as well.
Yeah.
There was a period we were playing with visuals, but recently there was just no capacity to do it. But hopefully we're going to return to that. That's the plan. Having that visual representation to go with the music was helping, I think, elevate the music, but also and helping connect with people.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can get back to that some more.
Yeah, and I'm in like digital advertising, so
Nice.
extreme job creators.
Tech creators.
This has been a long-lasting startup, though. Technically, it's not so
I
bad.
feel that.
Legacy startup.
Yeah, man. You got your legacy, legacy songs. Yeah. Try and.
If any investors listening to this, please give us a call.
Yeah, man.
Do with a few seed rounds here.
Yeah, we can do action verb. We can change the name. Action verb.
Yes. Drop
whatever.
A few vowels.
Yeah. JB. Yeah, JB. CR. All uppercase, of course. JB. Yeah. CRTRS. Yep.
Yeah. People will definitely invest in that.
I think so. Yeah, we can get the first round going after this podcast. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just such a strange world. Sorry, I've had a weird day of work and just thinking why am I doing this thing?
I feel like every day that's a weekday, I'm like, first of all,
it's a weekday. Yep.
First of all, why? Second of all, where am I right now? Half the time, you're am I in the screen at this point? Because your brain is still thinking somewhere else. I was telling Tim, I was like, I think people just follow through is becoming just people. Did you forget? Or everyone's got digital dementia or what? But it's very hard.
There's definitely a digital Alzheimer's.
Oh yeah.
Even texting is, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange. It's do both y'all work from home? I take it.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah. It's it's so weird because I'm in my house all day. I'm pretty much in this room all day.
Yeah, there's no boundary.
Yeah.
One of my friends is he's see, now everyone just craps where they eat. That's just what happens.
It's
okay, I'm at work, and then okay, I'm also here now.
Yeah. It's this comparison. It's
bring it on.
It might be too much. Have you guys seen Old Boy?
Oh yeah.
Old Boy. Yeah, it's this isn't a spoiler or anything, but he gets out and he's like, shit, I'm just in a bigger prison now. He gets out into the real world and he's just like, fuck. Obviously.
But there's that other thing that just came out as a movie where all the trailers are on top of each other and the kid goes to school in the metaverse.
Ready Player One.
Yes. I feel like we're actually all doing that now if you think about it, because you're not really in anywhere.
With Apple's new headset, it's basically they stole the concept design. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your inspiration.
Yeah, it's so
great movie, Steven Spielberg. Now we're going to make that dystopia a reality.
Yeah.
Tech is funny that way. It's okay, they for 30 years, every sci-fi guy was yeah, this could be pretty bad if we ever got crazy enough to do this, and everyone's like, yes, that's what we want to do now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the $3,500 goggles that don't show your eyes to the outside, but they show a video version of your eyes to the outside.
It's digitally rendered version.
It's not it's not the person isn't seeing through the goggles from the other person. They're seeing the display of your eyes on the goggles.
Yeah,
it's funny because
then it renders you and then shows you the 3D rendering of you. So it's a version of a version of a version of yourself, even though we thought you were in reality.
But this is where we're gonna trust consumer apathy at a certain point. After COVID, everyone was yeah, malls are dead, retail's dead, no one's doing this anymore. And then everyone was like, nah, we're going to do the exact same thing we were doing before COVID. We're not going to be streaming it as much anymore. We're not going to be like all that stuff was the human behavior is interesting. So it's like it's same with AI. Like Tim and I were like, well, maybe people want more of a human experience or what, but
I think that's true. I really do think that's true because like the reaction when they announced the headset was like muted because it's like when COVID happened, we realized what happens when you take the things that make you human away. You know, like we weren't allowed to gather for music. We weren't allowed to see our families. It's like that has an effect on people. And so I think, we are choosing more human future, I hope. Doesn't seem like billionaires care about that, but I think people do.
Billionaires are people, Tim. I'm hearing this. I'm saying it. I'm
so controversial.
I'm taking. Our people. Me and Blaise's people, Tim. Please do not.
Michael and I are the job creators out here. Come on.
We're the job creators now. I am now. It's been a hostile takeover. Hostile takeover. I'm now in job creators.
You know, Tim, here's your world exclusive, Michael. Our 10th anniversary tour. Maybe we should get up. Like, I wanted to always be in a suit and pretend you're interviewing the audience. You're like, well, thank you for coming today. What got you interested in this show? Then you just like start slapping bass. You're like, might be kind of funny.
I like that.
Yeah, we got to
like that.
Something quirky. We got to go viral somehow. That's the only way to.
It's true.
It's the only way to do anything.
It's like that David Byrne had himself interviewing himself. This is like in the 80s, but it was like a newscast of him interviewing himself about whatever the I forgot what the movie was called that they put out.
Stop Making Sense.
Stop Making Sense. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, it could be something like that. We're turning job creators into a live art experiment, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Goodness. Do you guys? I know we're being silly, but do you guys ever try and get weird artsy, or do you have any like grand ideas of like we can make this so weird and it'd be so great for like a live show?
Yeah, the samples occasionally have been like we had a COVID newscast going on for a while there. That was interesting,
jarring but fun.
yeah.
Just to remind the populace, remember we went through that? That wasn't that long ago.
The projector has been good though. Like when we had the projector synced up with the samples, that was probably as art rock as we got. But from a human performance thing, I don't know. Maybe that'll be the 10th anniversary tour. Try and figure that out. We did start wearing suits recently, so it wouldn't be that hard to just take that.
Experimented with the suit era, just to really not so much on the nose because I'm not dressing to the nines, but it is a suit. So,
it's a full suit. You got the pants. I mean, that is pretty. It's dressing to the 8s at least.
No, we're almost there. We're getting there. That's cool, guys. We're coming up on 50-ish minutes. Do you guys have anything you want to closing words or anything you want to get off your chest?
Mostly, thank you for having us, and for anyone's listening that's in the Northeast, that definitely hope to see you at a show in August. We're going to announce those pretty soon. We're waiting for a couple confirmations, and then it's like make a tour poster, get the word out, really start promoting it. Yeah,
I'll reshare all that when it comes out.
Awesome. Yeah, we appreciate it, Michael. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Y'all stay on for a minute. But you had options and you decided to talk to me. I appreciate it.